Meantime, I told you this going into the Queensland election. We spoke about it when it was breaking news in our program last night. But Queensland is paying for the broken promises of Annastacia Palaszczuk and the political machine that got her handsomely re-elected by frightening everyone about COVID at the end of last year. As you've heard by now, despite the fact that she ran into an election saying no pay rises for me or any other politician until 2023, she's not just getting one, but 3 pay rises between now and the next 15 months. Her explanation as to how she didn't break a promise? Well, this.
It's a decision of the Independent Remuneration Board, but they are less than the public sector wage increases. So we moved legislation in the House to prohibit it being any more, and the recommendation is that it's actually less. I don't make these decisions, the Independent Remuneration Tribunal does, and there's been a pay freeze for 4 years.
Are you serious? You have the full power and no upper house to pass whatever law you want. Remember, just before the last state election, they wanted to pass a law that would make it illegal for me to tell you if somebody was being investigated by the Corruption Commission who was on the ballot paper. They can do whatever the heck they want. They could pass a law to say, no, we don't accept it. Oh, but this isn't my decision, despite the fact that they promised it to be the decision. So did you lie then because you knew you didn't have the power to make that promise? Or are you lying now? Either way, fibs are what are being told to people in Queensland, and they have to pay for it. And as for this garbage of, oh, it's not my fault, we heard this before, remember? When a family was refused the ability to get into Queensland to be able to go to a dead relative's funeral.
I don't make those decisions. No, they're under. It's actually her decision. Under the Act, it's her decision.
You got 4 more years of this nonsense. By the way, let's have a look how your local premier and how much they get paid. Daniel Andrews is the highest paid premier in Australia, despite the fact that, of course, he's not actually at work while technically running everything in Victoria. He's paid $441,000. Palaszczuk will be paid $427,000. How was the Premier of South Australia paid more than the Premier of New South Wales? But that's the world under Marshmallow. Freshly re-elected McGowan, he's at $355,000 and the Tasmanian Premier at $300,000. And sadly, this story doesn't end because guess what? The bloke who is most likely to be the next Premier of Queensland before the next state election, that idiot Stephen Miles, he is paid $376,000 as a result of these pay rises, up $24,000. It is madness. It's other people's money. It's piddled up against the wall all day, every day. When they want to find $8 million to pay for a football game, they'll gladly do it. Then they think you are stupid. The media helps them in that effort by repeating promises they never intend to keep, and ultimately it just doesn't matter because they distract with blaming the federal government for every other problem under the sun. Ridiculous.